Hey, Adrian's here. Okay.
Hi.
Like 2 a.m. there, isn't it? 3 a.m.
I can't really see anymore. I lost my sight about 2 hours ago, so
It makes
something.
sense that you were saying you were drinking coffee at 11:30 p.m. now because
It's this balancing act to try and get the caffeine tail off. So I'm hoping I'm going to get some sleep. But
I
it's
noticed when I drink a
it's
Monster, it gives me a good 45-minute push, and then I'm able to take a good hour and a half nap.
wow.
Makes me more tired. So we're doing a quick sound check, everybody. Can everybody hear us before our official start? We got a lot of chat going on in the YouTube channel. Let me fix that. Uh-oh, I hit start, so we'll just go ahead and do it.
Woo!
Welcome, everybody. My name is Anthony James, founder and CEO of LinuxAcademy.com. And today we are having another live show. This is our third live show of the month of July, and this is an exciting live show. If you haven't been watching us yet so far, we've only announced not even half of our content launches for the month. So the really great thing about all these content launches is that we have an amazing training architect, and we are launching at standards unseen for online training before. So you have actually Thomas Hazlitt's with us today. We'll introduce him in just a second, but he invented or came up with the Orion papers, which we've gone and adapted and added interactive diagrams to all of our cloud-based courses. A lot of our Linux courses have as well, the Red Hat virtualization, the Red Hat Ansible certification courses that we have. And then we also have our one-of-the-kind unique hands-on labs with some real-time grader functions in there. So it's really, really exciting that we're launching all of this content here. I want to welcome everybody inside of the chat. You'll see me looking at it here and there. And real quick, again, Anthony James, if you want to take a moment, if you wouldn't mind, go to twitter.com/AnthonyDJames. Follow me there. I give away a bunch of vouchers, interact with the students, answer questions. I love doing that. Refills my passion bucket, helps me be rejuvenated working with our students. Also do that inside the Linux Academy community. Also, if you are on the YouTube channel, do me a favor, click that subscribe link. We are launching a bunch of stuff in YouTube this quarter. We're really, really excited about that. We have weekly tip videos coming for each one of our categories. We have weekly news videos starting next week with Google Cloud Weekly. So we're really excited about all of these things. So go ahead and click that subscribe button. Take a moment to follow me on Twitter. I give away a bunch of stuff all of the time. And as I was saying right here, this just backs it up. This just validates everything I just said. Is we're launching the Google Cloud Weekly. I think they're calling it next week with our own Google Cloud course author, Matt. Now, here's the great thing about this is Matt will be joining us, and he's already created the Google Cloud Architect Certification exams, and he will be joining us in our Google Cloud announcements. I would say that there are 2 certifications in Google Cloud today that we don't have courses for, and I will say that when Matt joins us next week with another course author, or I forgot the date on this, Winnie, I'm sure will tell me, we will have 0 certifications that we don't cover on Google. Decipher that. So that means we're probably launching 2 certification courses. Which 2 aren't on the site? We're probably going to launch those. So I give everything away. We've learned that on this live stream, Tom, right? Is I give away all of the answers for whatever reason. I just love doing that. So make sure you subscribe to YouTube for that. And let's go ahead and give a quick overview and thank you to all of our training architects. This is an amazing month for Linux Academy. In April, we launched 70 plus content items, the most in Linux Academy history in that specific time period. Not just 3 months later, we're more than doubling that. What I will say is we've already launched almost the 150, and we're only halfway done for the month. And so what that means is that 150 was a little conservative for us. But kudos to our training architect team who has worked crazy to make this happen. And what I will say is whenever you create new standards and you do new things, it's always a curve. It's like learning development. It's you're a little slow, but you get faster the more you do it. Experience matters, right? Well, our interactive diagrams are new. We have a lot of new team and staff to the training architect team, to the content team, who are learning how to build the hands-on labs using our integrated development environment for our training architects. And they've gone in, spent a lot of time, got up to speed, and they're building that for our students all while still answering student questions, participating in the community, doing boot camps, doing workshops, speaking. In fact, our own Elle Kraut will be doing a talk at SaltStack, which launched in our last, actually, I think it was our first live show of the month. She launched her SaltStack certification course. She's going to be doing a live talk there at SaltConf. Really fun. I'm excited to see that there. So thank you to all of them. And today we're joined by Thomas Hazlitt. Oh, we need to get this slide updated, I think, Tom, because we have some new people on the AWS Training Architect team. In fact, I think that might be an announcement today. I don't know, Adrian, have you ever been announced before?
I don't know. I think I'm that new. So,
and he is on the slide there. If you look closely, yeah, he's hidden, but he's there.
Oh, wait a minute. So I completely missed that. You were the last two rows. Your team's the last two rows.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, so we have a lot of people. So what we'll do is we'll dive into this. And in fact, Tom, why don't you take a moment and introduce who's on the live stream today, and maybe also talk about who's not on the live stream today and what their role is here.
Okay. How's everybody doing today? My name is Thomas Hazlitt, head of AWS content here at Linux Academy. Yeah, really happy to be here with everybody this morning and be a part of the live AWS content release that we have today. It has been a long time in the making, 3 months of hard work all throughout Q2, so we could bring these courses, quizzes, learning activities, challenges to all of you today. So I'll kind of go around the table quickly here and introduce everybody that we have on the live stream with us, because we have some new course authors and that have just joined us over the last couple of months, as well as some that have been with us for quite a while. So I'm going to start out with Andrew Estes, who is a new course author. He's putting out his first course today. Not going to spoil the course. We'll leave that for a few minutes from now. We also have Fernando Medina Corey, who's been with us now for, I think, what now, Fernando? About almost 9+ months now, I think, close to a year.
Yeah, I think it'll be a year in September.
Awesome. And he is putting out a course today as well. We have Craig R. Curie, who has been with us now for just over a year. He is putting out a course, and if some of you may know, he's put out several courses in the past, including the most recently the IAM Deep Dive course and also the CloudFormation Deep Dive course. Have with us also Phil Zona, who is a new addition to the AWS team, but has been with us for a while. Phil, how long have you been with Linux Academy now?
I've been here a while. It's about a year and 3 months, I think.
All right, and not to spoil too much, but I mean, Phil is now one of our assessment architects and has been leading the charge in building out new assessment challenges, and we have some really cool ones that are going to be announced today. Then we have again, another new course author, Mark Richmond, who has been with us now. It's been only about 2 months, I want to say.
Yeah, almost 3. Hi, everybody.
Almost 3. Time goes by so fast. And also Adrian Cantrill, who just joined us 4 weeks ago. And, unlike our other course authors who are, I should say, training architects now, who are based here in the United States, we bring somebody from all the way on the other side of the world. So, Adrian, why don't you say a quick hello and let everyone know where you're from?
Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm originally from the UK. I've lived in Australia, Brisbane, Australia, for about 7 years now. So it's currently 20 to 2 in the morning. So I'm going to try and be, understandable at this time. But hello, everyone.
Yeah, I know. I told Adrian, we want to have you on the live stream. We're going to have to keep you up all night. I talked to him last night, my time, before I went to bed, and he was just getting up in the morning. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to bed. I'll see you tomorrow, but it's just going to be the same day for you.
Never stops being confusing. So, yeah.
So that's the team that we have joining us on the live stream today. And as you will see on the slide here, we have some other course authors that have joined us as well. But they are not on the live stream today because they don't have courses being launched today. But we're going to see some really exciting stuff from them moving forward. And as we announce some of our other courses as well, we'll make a note about a few other course authors on the team as well. So for that, I'm gonna move on, and I guess we can just jump right into what's next here.
Absolutely. So this is really exciting. In fact, Tom, I would say that on January, how many people did we have on the AWS team January 1st?
So it was 4 including myself, and so now we're at 10 including myself.
So we're always hiring. We're always looking for great training architects to join the team that are passionate about helping our students. We always put our students first. And in fact, we had somebody last week we had our first annual training architect and engineering conference where we brought out 67 Linux Academy team members and had a lot of relationship building and did a lot of learning and all that other great stuff. And what was really crazy is we had one of our training architects who believed in our mission values so much geared around our students and community he didn't do it for Linux Academy. He did it before the values, which is something I really appreciate. But he went and got a Pinehead the Penguin, our logo, tattoo on his forearm. So that was pretty cool. I feel like maybe that's pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get
dedication right there. That's real dedication.
That is real dedication. And so real quick, everybody, and I'm not sure how much you know, but we are doing content a little bit differently than everybody else. And the reason we do that is we want our students to learn how to get practical hands-on experience, not just pass an exam. Passing an exam gets you maybe a job interview, but you need to be able to apply that knowledge, right? So we really focus on that hands-on interactive learning. That's where interactive diagrams come from. That's where our learning activities come from. And so some new things that we have is you're actually going to see a quest announced today. We have more of those coming, specifically in the month of August. And we have our challenges, which are deploys out an environment, gives you a scenario. You go through that challenge and it grades your ability to actually perform in a hands-on environment. Can you actually do what you've memorized how to do? Can you take those concepts and apply it to an actual situation? And then our learning activities. Every single hands-on lab is a learning activity. In fact, the learning activity has an interactive component and a communication component. They have written guides, they have videos, and they have hands-on labs, and soon to be new features that we're going to play out over the next 12 months. But they're independently consumable pieces of content, which means if you want to take one of those activities and learn that individual concept, whatever came before it, we deploy out for you as part of that lab. That's actually part of the fun of being a training architect is we still get to deploy and do a lot of DevOps automation in those environments. Now, one of the craziest things, Tom and team, that we've had over the past few months is now that we've moved in and we have so much content, so many courses, so much micro learning, all of that stuff. You know what our biggest problem today is? Our biggest problem today, and you might guess all of the updates to like the Azure certification since they, announce new ones every 3 months. I'd say no. Our biggest problem today is actually the fact that you can't find all of the content that's been launched and you don't know what content's new. You don't have stuff recommended to you. So one of the great things that we have going on right now, and I've posted it inside the linuxacademy.com community, is I posted screenshots. We've engaged our community about it, is we're working on our new quote unquote learning center, which is going to allow and empower this content discovery. See what's new, see what's recommended, find these things, find all of our different types of content. And that's going to be rolling out in 4 stages. The first stage will be released at the beginning of August, followed up with several stages through the month of August and into September. So that's a really, really exciting for us. We have a lot of development going on. We have Cloud Servers 2.0 designed specifically around new modern technologies for scaling and how we're going to deliver content in labs. That's also going to be launched in beta in September for our students to interact with. So a lot of exciting things going on outside of just new content. When you go to Linux Academy, kind of looks the same, but it's not going too much longer because we have so much going on. So it's great that our engineering teams, our design teams, our product teams, everybody's rallying around our students right now to get them what they've been asking for so long. So speaking of which, what they've been asking for, I think we have Rue in there. Always at our live shows, he's wanting to get to our announcements, but I have a little bit more derail. I'm going to skip right past this interactive diagram real quick, or we'll just hit play on it real quick. If you don't know what interactive diagrams are, if you can't use a cloud server in a course, as you're watching the video, you're going to click through and see the concepts build on each other. And in fact, Tom, why don't you just give a quick overview of what your vision was when you first came up with these?
Sure. So when I first became a training architect here at Linux Academy, I really set out with the idea that I wanted to create the course that I would have wanted to take as a student myself. And so I put a lot of thought into what sort of tools would I want to use while learning AWS or learning any sort of IT or cloud providing platform? And one of the things that I started to play around with, I said it would be really, really cool, not only if we had more diagrams and a better way to visualize the architecture and things that we were building, but what if we had the ability to interact with it, to be able to have high-level architecture and then drill down into the architecture to not only various levels of the architecture, but also for each component on the architectural diagrams to be able to click on the name and then have a text box pop up to provide the student with all sorts of information and context about that particular component, in the architecture. So I just started playing around with different online diagramming tools to figure out which one provided the right set of tools to design really robust interactive diagrams where you can literally just go in a million different directions. You can have multiple pop-ups, layers, you can drill down into different services and architecture. And I just started to build out from there into something that I thought was going to be a really cool hands-on tool. And it wasn't the key wasn't only creating the interactive diagram, but then also putting it in a split screen view side by side with the AWS console or whatever platform you happen to be teaching. But to have the AWS console and then the diagram split screen in each video, it allows to create the one-to-one connection between what it is that you're building in AWS. So say that you're building a VPC, you can have an architectural diagram of the VPC of what you're building. And as you go to something like building and adding a route table or an internet gateway on the diagram, we can reference exactly what the piece that we're building and then click on that, click on that piece, being it the route table or the subnet or the internet gateway, and then have a pop-up explain exactly what that is, what an internet gateway is, and the things that you need to know for the exam and to be a trained person in AWS, as you're actually doing it right at that moment in the console on the left side of the screen. So the combination of one, having the interactivity and then having that one-to-one connection between the visual and the practical at the same time, I thought was a really powerful way to teach, AWS and various cloud platforms. And I hope everybody agrees with that. And from the response we've gotten from our student community, it seems like everybody's really enjoyed that style of teaching. So that was kind of the genesis where it all came from and what I set out to do.
So, Tom, I clicked the wrong button and I sent out the trivia in the middle of you talking.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get to the trivia question then.
Yeah. And it's been answered. So that's good news. And so we'll give swag to the first 3 people that got it right. And the answer to that is SQS was the first service release. And if you don't know this, as you're launching a Linux Academy learning activity or hands-on labs, it actually gives you these little trivia cards. I would watch those. They're valuable pieces of information, right? Our goal is to educate you at all times. So even while you're waiting for something to deploy and launch to take, we're also educating you. So our goal is to be educating you at all times, not sell ads and put them in those places, right? So,
and for those asking in the chat here, we do have 5 total trivia questions. We have 4 more coming, so be on the lookout for them. Get your fingers ready and be ready to be the first one to answer when those slides pop up.
Yeah, and you never know. We might trick you and put it up there while we're talking about something completely different, as if it was intentional. You never know. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on to our first of 4 announcements today around AWS, and we should have somebody ready to go here. 3, 2, 1, and we are announcing the Lambda Deep Dive Complete Rebuild. Go ahead and take over and talk about the course.
Sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Andrew Estes. I am from Omaha, Nebraska, and this is my very first course with Linux Academy.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm super excited. So, really about the course, I started off, I try to build from the ground up and give everyone really all the knowledge, the basic fundamentals to start, if you're not familiar with Lambda, which is good, and then build off of that and then get to some more complex and advanced scenarios as you get later into the course. So I go from kind of talking about serverless fundamentals to just a simple function, creating it in the console and then using the CLI. And then I try and build off of all that in the preceding videos into more complex stuff where you're going to be interacting with other services like ECS, IAM, reverting some security group changes in EC2. So I try to cover just about everything that's possible from our standpoint for realistic scenarios, I guess is the best way to put it. So I got 12 learning activities in there. So I'm excited about those too.
What's really cool about those learning activities, again, is you should be able to pick any one of those if you want to just focus on that concept from learning and take just that. You don't have to go through the whole course. Let's say you've gone through the course and 6 months down the road, you're like, I forgot how to do this. I can just search in our new learning center that we're going to launch in August and take that independently consumable piece of content and provide value. So it's only a few minutes to go through and take it. So you get a lot of micro learning and continuous education value from this. And for those of you who don't know, we've had an AWS Lambda deep dive, and it was a little bit older, so we just threw it away, completely rebuilt this one. It's available on the site. And over the years, we've developed a lot of content. And what we've learned is that as cloud continues to evolve, the faster they change for the sake of changing sometimes for really, really great competitive innovation from the 3 and even 4 here soon major cloud providers and players. So we've designed this year our content team around specifically being able to handle all of this content, keeping it up to date, keeping it refreshed. And so you can ensure that we're going to stay on top of that. And we are almost through our complete library rebuild, believe it or not. We have another quarter and a half until we're done, but we've gone through and rebuilt almost all of our library to point and added new training with it to our new standards with interactive diagrams and hands-on labs. So that is really, really awesome. And great job on that course, Andrew. I actually look forward to going through that as well.
Before you move on, so the course does have full interactive diagrams as part of it. The code name for that is the Lambda Cipher, and and it's so one of the main course features of or the tools of the course. And what's really cool about it is Andrew took one of the templates that we have for doing these interactive diagramming, and he just totally took it to the next level. And I was super impressed with what he did in terms of adding new features and interactivity to the particular template. And I'm super excited to have that release as part of the course. I think it's going to be totally awesome, including the 12 learning activities, which are super in depth. I've gone through most of them. They're all really good, and I just think that anybody that is interested in Lambda, you're going to be super impressed with the course. And also the Lambda course over the last year and a half or so has been one of the most popular non-certification courses. So we really wanted to give that a refresh, since it was something that besides the certification courses, which are always our most popular, having the Lambda redone and get that out to you guys was very high on the list for us.
Are we ready for the next announcement?
I think so.
Here we go. We're going to get there. Oh. We are announcing the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Level 2018. Tom, I'll let you start and go from there.
Sure. So as many of you know and have been requesting, the AWS has been going through a real rebuild of all of their exams. And they recently went through and rebuilt and released betas and then released versions of all 3 associate level exams. And so the Solutions Architect Associate went through a rebuild, a beta and then a rebuild for the 2018 version of the exam. And you have until August 12th to take the current version, and then you're no longer going to be able to take that. So we had to make sure to get out a brand new 2018 version of the course for all of you guys before that date. And so as of right now, that has been released. And it has been updated now to cover the new lens that AWS has been taking for their solutions architects, and that is through their well-architected framework construct. And so the entire course has been redone through that lens, teaching through the best practices laid out in from AWS based on the well-architected framework. It has a brand new final exam with a ton of really in-depth scenario-based questions. It has, I think, how many learning activities is a part of that course now? I think it is, I have the number right here. I think 18. I think 18 brand new learning activities in the course. Yeah, it is a really, really large, in-depth course. But I'm going to let Fernando talk a little bit about the learning activities because he was the one that went through and did all the learning activities for this particular course. So, Fernando, why don't you take it away and talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess first off, thanks everybody. Welcome. I'm really excited to kind of kick off the announcement here for the AWS Certified Solutions Architect course for the associate level course. I think that with all the changes that AWS has been making to the previous kind of versions of the exam, to the new versions of the exam, everybody's really excited to have us release a course that's going to cover all that new material and do it in depth. Really quickly, before I really dive into anything, I want to point out that this is definitely kind of an effort of the team. There are a few other training architects who did the videos, who did a few other labs. Actually, I believe Tia and Adrian did other labs as well. So I definitely want to give a shout out to them for their work as well. So one thing I was really excited about for my work on this course is that I was able to spend a lot of time working on these live learning activities. And so when you're going to go into these learning activities, you're going to get an environment and a scenario. Well, you'll be given permissions inside of an AWS account to actually interact with that account and build out real world architectures and real world applications. So you can kind of see an example of this in the slide right now on the right, where in that particular case, the font is pretty small there, but I think in that particular case, it's actually going to have you create and configure RDS databases and do that in a way where you're actually creating everything that is kind of containing that. You'll be creating the VPC, you'll be creating the internet gateway, the route tables, the security groups, and the actual RDS databases and instances themselves, and everything else that kind of goes along with that. And I think that level of detail is something you can expect from basically all of the learning activities that we have here. So I'm really excited to get those to you, in addition to kind of building out multiple full VPCs from scratch and the applications within those. You'll be implementing things like serverless reminder services and all the other learning activities that you see on the screen here. I think it's a really great course. I'm really excited to get it out to you. Obviously, I'm biased because I worked on a lot of the material. And one other thing that Winnie has asked me to do, our marketing team has asked me to do, is to actually address a question about this course here live on stream. So I'm going to read out the question really quickly. It looks like this was from Adewale Stephen. And the question was, what's the advice for those of us who've already taken, for example, the previous version of the AWS Certified Solutions Architect preparation course, the version before this version, and who haven't sat for the exams yet, but are planning to do that before the August deadline? So if it doesn't work out, what's the advice for those people and how they should proceed? So from my perspective, I think that it's, I guess, in your best interest to know as much of the material as possible and to practice as much of the relevant material as possible. So when I say that, I'm saying definitely I suggest taking the newest version of the course, because it's going to have the up-to-date material. It's going to have additional material. It's going to have lots of new hands-on learning activities with additional diagrams, quizzes, very involved final exam. So all of that great material is going to be in this new version of the course. There's a bunch of that same material in the old version. It's just we're going to be adding so much more to the new version that I'd suggest taking that. In terms of which actual certification exam you should sit for, I think generally our advice on the AWS certification exams has been to always take the previous version of the exam if you can, but always study and prepare as much of the material as you can. So we always kind of say, take the most modern version of our preparation courses. You can also take the older version as well. It's just usually when we make a new version of a preparation course, it encapsulates everything that was in the old version and we add stuff in. But for the AWS exams, usually those old exams are a little bit easier and they just cover less material. That's what we've seen recently anyway. That might change in the future, but that's kind of my advice, I guess, personally. And I think Tom maybe has a similar perspective on that he might be willing to share as well. But the summary for me is take the newest versions of our preparation, take the older versions of the exam, just so that you have less material you have to look at. Tom, you have any other comments on that and any other advice for the student?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It was a fantastic explanation. And the reason why we suggest to take the older version of the exams when you can is because AWS, in their update with the new associate level exams, they've been making them harder. So there's more questions, they're longer exams, the questions are a little more difficult. So why not take the easier version while you still can?
Exactly.
Because you, in the end, regardless of which one you pass, you get the same certification. So might as well make it easier on yourself in terms of sitting for the exam. But Fernando was absolutely correct in that in order to be a properly trained solutions architect or certified developer or certified SysOps administrator, taking the most up-to-date version of our courses will always be better in that regard, especially when you're then trying to learn and develop the skills to go out and get jobs in the AWS field.
Definitely. I think that makes a lot of sense.
And so obviously this course, features a completely updated version of the Orion papers, still same name, still the Orion papers, but it obviously all the content in it has been updated to reflect everything new with some additions as well.
So we had some pretty good questions while that was going on. And you guys addressed some of that. So good job on that. So some of the other questions were actually, believe it or not, also related to taking and consuming the learning activities, since they are independently consumable. They are available within the course and the course syllabus. The syllabus is designed around needing that. So don't skip those as you're taking the course. They have different parts of knowledge in there. So you need to take the videos and the learning activities, everything in the course. And we also had some, hey, can I find those learning activities outside of it? If you do go to the hands-on lab at the top of the page, they are indexed there. We are launching our new learning center that is going to be specifically designed around consuming and finding this content. And another final question was, do we plan on having the Elastic Stack deep dive course? We actually launched that at our first live show. The link has been in there, but lots of great stuff. So this is some pretty good information. Tom and Fernando, thanks for following up on that, talking about the old exam. In fact, I just went back and set the old exam as public. If it's okay with you, Tom, I titled that as old exam, or if you want a different thing on there. That way, everybody knows which one's the new course. We have the 2018 on there for the most recent exam, and the older one is for the... Are we ready to have another trivia? Let's go ahead and jump over to our trivia, everybody. And trivia question: what big company does Amazon Redshift poke fun at in its name? I don't know this one. Tom, do you know this one?
I do, but only because it was Mark, right? That you were the one that came up with this question. Is that correct?
Yeah, and this is trivia in its essence. Not a lot of people know this. Let's see who gets it here in the chat.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting because it wasn't something that I ever knew. Oh, somebody. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, way to go, Anoop.
All right, I need the story behind this then.
Okay, so can we give it away? Yeah, enough people have answered now. So the answer is Oracle. Oracle is known as Big Red, and Redshift is an analytics system in Amazon, and Amazon, in their attempt to steal customers away from Oracle, named their service Redshift. They want everyone to shift away from Big Red, from Oracle. So hence the name.
Marketing, even in subliminal messaging. That's probably where most marketing occurs, actually. Well then.
Yeah, I thought that was an awesome trivia question because it was a fun trivia question, something obscure, and it's just kind of interesting to learn these little tidbits and facts about AWS. It's really cool.
Seriously, yeah, that should be a while you wait card. We should figure out how to make that happen. I think Christoph is watching this. Christoph, while you wait card. That's a good one. Are we ready to go to our next announcement? Is anybody not ready? Do you want me to wait and just continue hanging on here? All right. Let's go to our next announcement, everybody. We're announcing the new brand new course to all of our standards of the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional. And Craig, I'll go ahead and let you take over from here.
Oh, I think Craig, you might be muted.
Craig's course is a silent course.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
I was going to mime it for you guys. Welcome, folks. I'm Craig Arcuri, training architect, and I developed the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional course. This was an update. Christoph Lampelier did a great course on this, but time moves so fast in AWS, and we had to update it. So the course is very heavily focused on core concepts in AWS. If you sit for the exam, you're going to see a ton of auto-scaling questions, CloudFormation, a lot of CloudWatch. And one thing that you have to focus on is some of the deployment services, CloudFormation, OpsWorks, and Elastic Beanstalk. And there's always a choice, which one of these is the best fit for the scenario you're given. So we focus a lot on scenarios, There are 12 learning activities in the course. Now, speaking of scenarios, first of all, I want to say that we have the Orion paper-esque document in the course, and that is called the DevOps Doctrine. So we tried to juice up that title as best we could.
I love the names. That's one of the funnest things that we all do together is come up with the names for these various interactive diagrams.
Yeah, so we got a little intrigue there. And of course, just like all of our interactive Lucid charts, it sits side by side with the AWS Management Console or the CLI if we're using the CLI. So I think you'll enjoy that. And one other thing I wanted to talk about, I came up with something called the Scenario Solver, just a little tool I came up with. So when I take these exams, and really at the professional level, you have to focus on scenarios. You're going to get these complicated scenarios. And what the Scenario Solver does is I wanted to try to help you to visualize solutions. So the Scenario Solver is going to give you a scenario in a couple sentences, not overly verbose. And then in Lucidchart, it's going to provide you with a partial solution. And the idea is for you to just sit for a couple minutes and think about it and try to visualize the solution, maybe jot it down on paper. And then finally, you can click for the solution and see how you did. And again, I think visualization on these professional level questions is important. And I just wanted to kind of gear it toward that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was at about halfway through the course as Craig was developing, he came to me and says, Tom, I had this idea, something I want to add in a whole section at the end called the Scenario Solver, where, really, he ties together all of the concepts learned throughout the course, and as opposed to it just being, obviously this does have the courses have a final exam, a practice exam, but this was something that was a little more abstract in presenting you with a scenario, giving you a partial solution, and having a video that really talks about the solution and giving you some time to actually sit and think about a proper solution to the scenario. And I just thought it was an amazing idea when Craig came to me with it. And I was like, let's definitely get that into the Lucidchart, be a part of the course. And he has a scenario, I think about 8 scenarios that you have in there, 8 or so videos for the Scenario Solver that have, that cover 8 different scenarios.
It's 6 videos and 12 scenarios total.
There you go.
Got a little ambitious at the end and I added a couple.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a feature that everyone's really going to enjoy. I think it's really, really cool. So definitely great job on putting that together.
So, I'm just going to say this. The chat is going insane, Tom. Like they are going insane right now on the amount of all the questioning, all the stuff they want. They love all of y'all. But this is some insane chat. We have 216 people in the chat right now, and it's insane. It's pretty crazy. So we should probably get to the next one. And Tom, you prepared to talk a little bit about it?
Yes, absolutely.
Also, I think what we may do, given the fact that there's so much excitement in the channel and how crazy they're actually going right now, is maybe we'll talk about also what we're working on this quarter and what to expect from that as well. But
yeah,
we'll talk
I
about
figured I would get to that because I've seen several questions about other AWS exams as well. So we'll wrap around back to that in a few minutes.
Yeah, so let's see what's next on our list here. Next on our list, we have Phil Zona talking about some of the challenge assessments launching. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. This is Phil Zona here. We've got some new challenges for you all to take. And for those of you, if you're maybe new to Linux Academy or just haven't had a chance to check out our challenges, what these are hands-on scenarios that let you test your skills. So you can take a practice quiz to see what you know, and you can take a challenge to see what you can actually do. And we've got 4 new ones here. The first one is IAM groups and roles. Kind kind of self-explanatory. It's about IAM. The next one that is available today is securing traffic with WAF, or Web Application Firewall. And these are both part of our AWS Security Basics quest. So people who were asking for more security content, I think you're really going to like these. Another one that's part of that same quest is auditing AWS infrastructure for security. And just a hint, you're going to be using config for that one, AWS config. So the size of our AWS security quest has doubled, and we're also adding monitoring infrastructure with CloudWatch. So it's sort of a true deep dive test on CloudWatch. So those last two are going to be coming soon. They're in the final stages of QA, but the first two are available for you to take now, and hope you enjoy them.
Yeah, I think the other two that are coming soon, they're literally coming soon as in like the next couple of days. So we're just in the final stages of QA testing for those. So I think the CloudWatch that will probably be released today or tomorrow, and then the auditing AWS infrastructure security probably then a few days after. So those are all very close to being done and pushed out. And access Quest and go to take these assessments. When you go to linuxacademy.com, under the navigation bar at the top, you'll see a button for training. If you just mouse over that and then down a little bit, you will see a button for quests. And then you will see the AWS Security Basics Quest, and that's what these new ones are being added to.
We're going to just dive into the last one. We're going to dive into the last one, everybody. I think it's time. I don't know that we can... again, answering the question, where do you see these challenges? Tom kind of just talked about that with our new unified navigation, as we're calling it. You click on training. There's a little section called beta. You'll see learning activities and quests and stuff like that. So they'll be underneath there. And we'll also make sure that they're available if they're not there now, to make sure it's easily accessible. So let's jump on to the final last one. Here we go. Everybody, let's talk a little bit about the AWS Certified Security Specialty, because before you get too super excited, there's a catch. Tom, why don't you take over from here?
There is a catch. So we are releasing some of the content for that course today, with more incoming. So if you all remember back to the one of the first slides that we put up, which had all the team members, you may have noticed that one was missing someone that's been around for a while, and that was Trent Hayes. And so he left Linux Academy a few weeks ago, and he was in the middle of working on this particular course. So we've had to shift a few gears, and it has put a bit of a delay in the release of the full course. And, you know, as with any company, that happens and things have to be adjusted. So as of today, what we have done is we've released 12 of the learning activities in a quest, which is called the hands-on AWS Certified Specialty Learning Activities Quest. So those are all going to be under the Quest tab, and you can go in and you can take all 12 of them. They are some really awesome in-depth security-based hands-on learning activities. And what I'm going to do is I'll turn that over to Mark Richmond in a minute. He was the training architect who put all of those together. But in terms of the actual course content for the videos themselves, Adrian Cantrill, all the way from Australia, he has been brought over to finish out the course. So he's been going through a bunch of re-records for the course and has been working on the videos for that. And so what we're going to do over the next several weeks is release that course in stages. So right now he's redoing and fixing up domain 1 and 2 of that course, and then we're going to release that probably some point towards the either the end of next week or the beginning of the following week, and then we're going to release domain 3 and 4 after that, and then domain 5 and the final exam. And so we're going to give you a bit of a preview so that you guys can start to take that content, and then as you progress through the course, we'll be dropping more in. So, you know, we apologize for the delay in getting that out. Obviously, we would have loved to have had it for the launch today, but, you know, things happen. You have to retool, and we are working as fast and hard as we can to get that out. So first, let's talk about the learning activities, and then Adrian, you can talk more about what you're doing for the videos themselves. But Mark, you spent, weeks upon weeks putting together all these learning activities for the AWS Security Specialty course. So why don't you jump in and kind of talk a little bit about them and let the students know what they're in for?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Tom. Hi, everybody. Mark Richmond, based in South Florida, and I was the training architect that worked on the learning activities for the Certified Security Specialty course. We have about a dozen learning activities for you. They'll all be available today. Even though we're going to be trickling out the lessons, learning activities, they're all hands-on labs. You can log into your own AWS account, included free with your subscription, and you can get your hands dirty learning all these technologies. So we're covering VPC flow logs, CloudWatch logs, AWS config, inspector, CloudTrail, web application firewall, WAF. I see a number of people in chat asking about that. KMS key policies, and a number of other topics. So I'm very, very excited to be able to create all this content for you. These are available today, and hope everybody likes them. Thanks.
Yeah, and so we put them into a quest on Linux Academy at Tom, so that you guys can easily find them. And so right now, you should see, if you go there right now, it does say coming soon. We're going to have that turned on probably sometime in the next hour or so. It's just something that we're just working on the back end, and that quest will be released, so you can go in and you can easily find all of those, take them. And I had the pleasure of going through some of them, and they are really in depth. And really cover a lot of cool security features in AWS. So, Mark, great job on putting those all together. But now, want to, reintroduce Adrian. So Adrian, why don't you just again tell us a little bit about yourself, your history in the teaching, AWS teaching field, maybe a little bit about the dangers of living in Australia, and then what you have planned for the video sections and the question and exam sections of the course.
Yeah, awesome. So hello, everyone. My name's Adrian Cantrell. I've sort of worked in IT for about 20 years now. I've been teaching in AWS for coming up to 2.5 years. Some of you may know me from working with a competitor, but I'm not gonna mention any names. This is actually my first course with Linux Academy. So I was going to work on something else, but with the other training architect leaving, I was moved over to this. So I've got an interest in security. I'm almost, as of next week, I'll have sat the security exam 3 times. So I sat the original beta at reInvent in 2016, did the new version of the beta, I think, at the start of this year, and I'm about to retake the exam to sort of do a bit more reconnaissance for the course. I'm super excited to get it in everyone's hands. I think I've had about 10 students in the Linux Academy community Slack ask me about it, probably in the last 2 or 3 days. So I think everyone's really keen to get their hands on it. I'm really excited. Like, the video lessons are going to be really sort of deep dive into all of the security elements of all of the AWS products. The hands-on activities are really amazing. Like, I'll just reiterate what Tom and Mark said. They're really good. Anyone who's taken any of my courses, when I've made courses for Cloud Guru, do not worry. The sort of the tools that we've got access to at Linux Academy really are second to none. So the course is going to be really hands-on, really deep dive, covering every single service in AWS from a security point of view. We have got an interactive diagram. So it is the Security Specialty Runbook. So that'll obviously accompany the video lessons, the questions, and the sort of the theory side of things. So not much else I can add. I'm not allowed to sleep at the moment, pretty much. So I'm hard at work getting this into everyone's hands. So if you do have any questions, I'm available on the community Slack. You can just reach out and say hi, and I can give you updates how I'm going. But I will get it into your hands as soon as possible. Well, and to everyone else asking the obvious question, Linux Academy is clearly the best. Like, there's just no question. So, yeah, it's a silly question, but
I always appreciated the fact that you've put that on your blog for years, even before you started working here.
And it caused me lots of problems doing so as well. But, you just got to say how it is. Like, with the breadth of content and the sort of the practical nature is just brilliant. So glad to be here, glad to make the course. So all good.
Yeah, and that's for everybody kind of wondering what we do again, and talking about other stuff in there and being complimentary places. Our goal, the reason we price our training where we price. Now, if you signed up prior to January 1st, as long as you never cancel your account, you're going to maintain grandfathered plans. So here's the kicker. We don't raise pricing on people who purchase an account and keep it forever. And in fact, we're not planning on raising pricing for a very, very long time. but our pricing actually does reflect a lot of things with it. We're not just delivering videos. We're not just delivering videos with PowerPoints in there that are kind of exam dumps or just past exam stuff. We're delivering real hands-on training. And what I'll tell you right now, and what I will challenge you, is that you will provide more, or you will get more value going through our training with our interactive diagrams and hands-on labs than any in-person training provider, whether it's sitting in a $2,500 or $3,000 class. And the entire library is available to you. So our goal is to make sure that we're monitoring all of the updates, making sure all of our stuff is up to date, managing and deploying our environments that deploy these things out here. There's a lot of custom images that we use and the custom scripts, and there's a lot of things, right? And our team can go in and they can help you troubleshoot as you're going through the training. If something doesn't work correctly, we can connect to your machine and work with you on this stuff, or the lab machine. So there's a lot of different reasons we actually do what we do. And for those, enterprise customers that are watching this, it's not really feasible necessarily to expect 2,000 or 3,000 of your staff to have their own AWS accounts, or for your accounting department to reimburse the AWS accounts. And there's concerns over port 22. So you got to have ways to connect to that. And so that's why we provide a lot of those environments. So it's really kind of a great B2B tool as well. But all of these hands-on labs, as you can say, we've really, really overinvested in the hands-on component this year. And we're launching the new concept of Quests as well, which is 100% hands-on journey through that stuff. So you go through courses, which will have videos, it'll have interactive diagrams, it'll have hands-on labs, which are learning activities, or you could just go through the Quests. Now, Quest obviously won't cover a lot of concepts, but it's 100% hands-on, but all of those things are still available, and they've been available. We've been offering hands-on labs, AWS, OpenStack, Azure, we're getting ready to launch Google, Linux, DevOps. We've been offering all these hands-on labs for 5 years now, 6 years for our Linux hands-on labs. So for those of you kind of wondering why and how we do our pricing, it's primarily because we want to make sure that we're adding all this stuff. It's insane the actual amount of requests we get from the user and our user base for our platform. It's also, there's a lot of cost to maintaining full-time course authors and deploying out these environments and making sure it's easy to provide value, right? So if I'm a person and I'm inside and I'm like, I need to remember how to, for example, work with CloudWatch logs as it relates to security, I can quickly go in and find that learning activity. I don't have to download lab files, deploy it in my environment, troubleshoot it. I can deploy it out, get that concept, go back to what I'm doing in my job and continue on. So that's a lot of value of the quick deployment and quick learning. And we are working on something that we call Project Sloth. And I got in trouble internally here for announcing this a couple weeks ago. They kind of made fun of me, but Project Sloth is what I'm calling InstaLabs, where as you go through our environment now and you deploy labs, if we're deploying resources and configurations or broken environments for you to troubleshoot, because the whole point is we deploy that and you learn just the parts that you need to learn. If we're doing that, sometimes, as everybody knows, it takes a while to build those pipelines, to build the scripts and execute the code and build the configuration as we want. So we're internally working on a tool that should launch later this fall for InstaLabs, where you'll be able to click a button regardless of the lab and it deploy in several seconds versus currently it can take up to 9 to 10 minutes. Again, that's why we provide the while you wait card, so you're still provided value in learning. You can watch the videos as it deploys, but that's why we do what we do. So anything else? This is really exciting. Tom, the team's looking good. Adrian, Andrew, Mark, Craig, am I getting everybody on here? Phil, everybody, we're really excited to have you on. And as you can see, the channel's going crazy. Tom, let's real quick talk about big data and AWS certified professional level solutions architect.
So some of you were wondering about other AWS certifications and when updates for those courses were going to be coming. And one of the reasons why we haven't updated yet some of them, like the AWS CSA Pro, is because the exam hasn't been updated, it hasn't changed. But in the last, over the last year and a half, a lot of the associates have changed multiple times. So our priority is always to be on updating the content that needs to be updated first. And so we had to make sure to get those courses up to date, so that all of you guys have the proper information for those certification courses. And once we do, and we can now concentrate on updating those that have not been updated. But we have gotten word that both the big data exam and the CSA Pro exam will be updated before the end of this year. So now, since AWS has said that that is going to occur, well, that tells us that, hey, those have to be updated now. We have to look for those changes, what is going to be changed, and update our courses there. So, take that for what you will, but that is something that is now number one on our priority list.
We have people talking about our $5 pricing. When we launched 6 years ago, it's $5. We had one cloud server and 6 Linux videos and nothing else. And what I would say is we don't raise pricing on our individual users. So if you sign up for membership, and you will maintain that forever, that same pricing, as long as you never hit that cancel button. The other caveat of that is we are losing a bunch of money on those $5 users. So it is a core value of ours. We do love and want to show loyalty to those who show loyalty to us, but understand it costs a lot of money per user to actually issue the service that we're issuing, which is, again, reflective of that price change. It is part of our core values to make sure that we provide training at an affordable price. It's not about making money for us. It is about offering and being able to, personally, I'm just blessed to be able to do what I love on a day-to-day basis. And we're here for the students. So again, a little bit of history behind our pricing, why we do what we do, and how it all goes in there. So, all right, so let's go real quick. We got more AWS trivia. Tom, thanks for talking about some of those updates. We are done with the announcements. Now we're just going to give away stuff. So let's give away and have some fun. Let's see here. Let me click the next button or just hit the keyboard, as our friend Chris Fisher reminded me that I could do. By the way, Jupiter Broadcasting Podcasts, Linux Action News is something that Chris Fisher does. It's a really great podcast. Talks about all the news and updates with the industry. He's been doing it for years. They have the Linux Unplugged. They have the TechSnap show, which talks a lot about containers and cloud. And they have Coder Radio, where they talk a bunch of coding things. They have BSD. It's one of those things, Tom, where I've just been finding myself listening to his podcasts all the time. But real quick, in what year did AWS begin offering certification trainings? Now, fun factoid while you answer this question, Linux Academy had AWS training before AWS certifications were launched, believe it or not. That's pretty cool. I think that's a better factoid, is that we had certification training. Our first course was called Enterprise AWS, and it was done by me. Tom, do you know the answer to this? Has anybody got it left in the community yet? I haven't heard anything. I'm not looking. Oh, here we go.
We have a lot. Listen, we got a lot of answers. I do see some with the right answer. Wow, we have some real variety here. 2004, I don't even think, AWS was a thing in 2004.
No, I think the first service was 2008. SQS was 2008 or was 2000. I think it's 2008.
No, the correct answer is 2013.
And we had our AWS course in 2012. I was writing auto-scaling streaming architectures on EC2 before I started doing Linux Academy. So it was actually pretty cool.
So it looks like the first person to get it right. Wow, it was a while. It was, looks like Sunil.
Let's give swag to the first 3 people that answered it correctly. Winnie?
Yeah, it was about the 20th answer before we got something that was right. Good job.
Winnie, make a note of that if you don't mind. Give it to the first 3 people. You have some troll in there by the name of Derek Morgan that is trolling the answers, though, Tom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That Derek Morgan, man.
That guy. If he didn't make such good training material at Linux Academy. The Terraform Deep Dive course, the AWS Specialty Networking, the RHCSA Performance-Based Practice Exam. Now he's working on the big data. I don't know. Was I supposed to give that away? I give that away.
I mean, I was hinting at it, and it just went and gave it away then.
I can't help myself sometimes. All right, everybody. Real quick, there's still plenty of opportunities to win. We're giving away an Ansel 1, top-of-the-line Ansel from the Ansel company. This is really cool. Deploy containers and VMs on your own machine, on your own local network, do a whole bunch of fun stuff, set up your home lab, all of that great stuff. The grand prize, the last day of the month, our last live show, go to linuxacademy.com/live, and we're giving this sucker away. It's like an $1,800 box. We're giving it away, And that's going to be really, really exciting. Enter in to win. You can enter in like 4 times a day. Believe it or not, you can enter 4 times a day if you want to enter in to win to this. So we're only halfway done. This is our official halfway point for our content launches for the month. We still have more DevOps. We still have more Google. We still have Azure on its way as well. Azure's been a big area of focus for us, and is going to continue to be ever since they even announced more certifications on July 13th. That was fantastic news. So real quick, do we have any questions for our AWS Training Architect team? Our head of AWS Content, Thomas Haslett, or me, Anthony James, founder and CEO of Linux Academy? I'm going to go look at the chat, so if I'm not smiling in the camera, you'll understand why.
That means all of us have to smile on the camera while we're waiting.
And we also have 2 more AWS trivia questions as well.
I think they got all the answers out earlier. We were kind of addressing them as they were coming in. Got lots of requests. Remember, you can always go to our request dashboard for courses, linuxacademy.com.ideas.aha.io. The way we handle our content strategy is not solely based off of that. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. However, we do like to take into account our community requests. There's a lot of things on there that I was actually surprised about that we went ahead and launched. So we enjoy engaging with our community. Real quick, if you also don't mind, can you help us spread the word of all of our content launches? We also have a free edition of Linux Academy, and we call that our community edition, where we have a lot of great content on there right now. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about that or not, but we have a lot of great, looks like we're going to, but we have a lot of great content on there. You can sign up. We do surprise, what I call drops, not dropping the content like a loot drop. Courses on a monthly basis. We're getting ready to cycle out some of those big ones at the end of this month, and we're going to drop some new ones in the first Friday of August. So real quick, let's go ahead and keep moving. It doesn't look like we have a lot of questions, but next trivia question. Who is the CEO of AWS? This is actually a nice, tricky question. The CEO of Amazon Web Services. Now, are you guys with me when I say you got power when you have CEOs reporting to you? Oh, it looks like we got somebody in there already answered it. Andy Jassy. That is correct. That is correct. You have CEOs reporting to CEOs. I wonder how many CEOs Jeff Bezos actually has reporting to him as CEO. That's getting a little confusing at that point. He's almost like his own board. All right, so we have Andy Jassy. That is correct. Let's do our quick recap, everybody. This is important because we had a lot of questions in here. So far, this has been our announcements for the month. If you excuse me while I read this screen, we have Elasticsearch Deep Dive. That is an incorrect slide. It is actually Elasticstack Deep Dive. I apologize for that. I see where the confusion came from. I know our design team will get that updated for us for the live show. Then we have implementing a full CI/CD pipeline. The buzz around this one's been pretty cool because of the depth that it goes into, or the response from our students. It goes into a bunch of Prometheus, Grafana, deployment pipelines with containers and all that other good stuff. So there's a lot of great stuff in this course. SaltStack Certified Engineer by Elle Kraut, and she is speaking on how to use Salt or SaltStack tips for your everyday life at SaltConf. And so if you're interested in going to SaltConf, I don't know how much you know about Salt, but it's not necessarily a replacement for tools like Ansible. It actually works very friendly with Ansible and complements it. So I would go ahead and check that out as well. Kenny Armstrong launched our Linux and LPIC 1 System Administrator 101. Just so you know, the context behind this, our other course is going to stay available by Terry Cox because that certification exam is good for the next 6 months. However, in September, LPI, Linux Professional Institute, is launching new exams. This course is specific to those September objectives. So our promise to you is to stay updated on content. We are ahead of the objectives for this exam. So we're starting to really live up to that promise. Again, both of them will stay available. Now, there is news in the industry that CompTIA is breaking off and competing with everybody, but breaking off from LPI. So they will be separate certifications. If you get the LPI certification between now and April 1st, you will get the Linux Plus certification and LPIC. I said that backward. You must register for Linux Plus. You must fill out a form on LPI. He talks about it in this course. And you get 2 certifications by taking one exam and going through one course. You will not be able to do that after April 1st of 2019. We then launched our Red Hat Certified Specialist in Virtualization course, our Red Hat Certified Specialist in Ansible Automation. Both of these utilize interactive diagrams and, of course, hands-on labs. Both of these also come with performance-based practice exams, which you can't get anywhere else. And that's what our lab system allows us to do here at Linux Academy. There's lots of value in hands-on. Derek launched the performance-based Red Hat Certified System Administrator course practice exam, Red Hat Certified System Administrator performance-based practice exam. And Amy launched the OpenStack Foundation Certified OpenStack Administrator, which is coming out for all the new objectives coming out in the exam. I think the new exam is being announced this month, and it is covered as part of all of those objectives. So we do have a little bit more. It's been an exciting month so far. Then today, we launched our AWS Lambda Deep Dive, completely rebuild. All of these have interactive diagrams and cool code names. In fact, Tom, I want to talk to you about that after this. Don't let me forget. Our AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate Level 2018 exam, you received the tip that if you are taking the old exam, do that because it's easier than the new exam by Thomas Hazlitt and Fernando. Craig launched the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Complete Professional Rebuild that created a little bit of buzz on the scenario solver. We've already had requests that be just quickly rolled out in all the courses. Tom, can we just get that done by tomorrow?
That we can.
Phil Zona is launching, our assessment architect has launched a bunch of performance-based activities. Mark and Adrian are jointly launching the AWS Security Specialty. The quest is already available. I think we have to set a few things public after the show. We will do that immediately. It is available. It's 100% hands-on. And the videos by Adrian Cantrill with interactive diagrams. It is interactive diagrams, right, Adrian?
It is. It's the security run book, it's called. But yeah.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
By the way, the AWS the Certified Security Specialty Learning Activities Quest, it is now live. So you can now go and enroll in that and see and take all 12 of the security learning activities that has been released as a precursor to the security specialty course.
Everybody right now, go click on training at the top of Linux Academy. Right below the categories, you'll see a little thing that says beta. It'll be green highlighted. Click on quests. From there, you will see the quests that are available. We have more quests launching this month as it relates to containers, wink, wink. And that's it. It's been a big month so far. So everybody, thanks for joining. And what we have next week is
Anthony, we have one more trivia question.
We're not, we still got to go all the way through it. I got more. There's the slides keep going.
Am I jumping ahead there then?
You're jumping
all
ahead.
Right.
You're jumping ahead. So this week we have part of our Google Architect team at Google Cloud. You'll be getting some updates from them. Matt is launching a certification course. Joe is launching some stuff. And we have actually another one we're probably going to pre-launch as well as part of this. And then our Google Weekly launching on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This is all the stuff that we launched this month. I'm not going to read it to you. Not going to do it. If you're following me on LinkedIn or if you are on the blog or follow me on Twitter, I will post this. Again, we are launching our content discovery service, aka Learning Center, in August. That's going to make all of this even easier to find, but all of these are built into courses and quests. So that's a lot of stuff so far. So Tom, we've actually surpassed our 150 for the month now, and we're well past it. I think we passed 200, and we're only halfway done.
Oh, we're just going to have to rebrand everything now.
Yeah. Real quick, we'll just get on that. That takes no time at all. And we have more. Here's the other. There's so much stuff. And again, these hands-on learning activities, they're hands-on 100%. They're going to be found in quests. We launch quests, more quests in August, and they're independently consumable. So if there's a piece of content or something that you want to just learn in your continuous training after you've done your hard depth training, you can search deploys it out, you can refresh yourself on that concept. In this day and age, you need that type of tool set in your toolbox, or else you just can't remember everything. It's impossible. My brain's not big enough to be able to remember everything on there. So that's why we've moved to the learning activities. You will love it. And now let's get to that trivia. Which of these companies runs on AWS? eBay, Netflix, or Walmart? And as everybody's talking about this, we do now have our Red Hat Certified Architect learning path available on Linux Academy. Terry Cox is putting up a quick 20-minute course that specifically talks about everything Red Hat Certified Architect, but we have enough exams to support the Red Hat Certified Architect certification, probably the most industry coveted certification there is. And the answer is Netflix. That's for sure. Walmart and Amazon are not friends. I think that's pretty well known. But the answer is Netflix. Who was our first person on there? I can't see. There's too many answers already. I can't find it. And then as a quick recap, and we'll let you talk to the team if you want at the official end of the show. They can stay on for a few minutes. Again, help us share the community edition. Currently from July 1st to August 1st, we have the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner building serverless chatbots with Lex using Salt for configuration. This is not the certification Salt stack. This is a Salt deep dive. Management and orchestration. Same thing. Google App Engine deep dive and our Docker deep dive. Now, what isn't also included all quarter long is our AWS concepts, the DevOps pipeline learning activity, Elastic Stack Essentials, Mastering System D, Build Your Own Linux from Scratch, SQL Primer, and our Linux Professional Institute Linux Essentials Certification Prep Course. I'm just kind of pushing through so we can get to all the fun stuff, everybody. We are out of announcements. And we do have on August 10th, now this is really, really cool. We have a Women in Tech webinar. And what's really exciting about this is, our last webinar, Michelle Gill was on also with it. And then this webinar, our own OpenStack course author, Amy, will be participating with Elaine Marino on August 10th at 10:30 a.m. with the title of Inspired Inclusion, Build and Culture and Thrive. Follow us, celebrate with the team. This is a lot of work. You can see just from the show, it's a lot of work. There is so much stuff going in here. Training architect team that's on here today. Training architect team that is watching us live on here inside the chat. You guys are impressive. I know that our students are very grateful for you. I'm very grateful for your hard work. The fact that you came up with the core mission values and you care about our students and you care about what you do and you have so much passion built around teaching and the technology is very humbling to me. Our students celebrate with our team on Twitter, social media, inside the community. Let us know how you feel. Also, on every single piece of content, there is a thumbs up or thumbs down button. If you like it, give them some love. Click the thumbs up button. If you don't and you find an issue, click the down button. Be very polite, put the issue in there, and I can promise you'll probably hear from the team depending on what it is. Our team reaches out. They do a lot of cool stuff. Also, if you didn't know this, with our new unified nav, we launched the ability to purchase swag with gems. If you click on the gem icon, there'll be a little button that says purchase swag with gems. Click on that, fill out your name. We'll be launching that in August. Woo! I'm exhausted. I'm going to let you guys take over and just chat here. Next live show, July 26th, 10:30 a.m. Google announcements and a container announcement. Training architect team, let's just talk to our community. Everybody, thanks for joining us. That's the official end of the live show. We're going to be on for a few minutes, having conversation, answering questions.
I know some of you may have asked some questions earlier that weren't addressed, so feel free to drop them in again, and we'll try to answer them over the next few minutes here.
Adrian's trying to cop out early.
Well, to be fair, he's
it is in fact early. It is early. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Adrian, I think at this point you just stay up because it's almost morning. It's just the next work day, so I think you just got to stay up and just go roll right into tomorrow.
I've actually thought about it, but I'm probably not going to
sleep in, man. Go get 8 hours of sleep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go get 8 hours of sleep.
Ridiculous.
My other half is getting up in about 3 and a bit hours, so I'm going to get woken up anyway, but it'll be all right. It'll be good. I am going to dash though, so it has been great. So I will, yeah. Anyone wants to chat, reach out on the community Slack, and I will.
So yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry, just we are getting a few reports of people trying to access the Quest page, and it is spinning. We will get right on that right now. So I've already reported it to our dev team. So hopefully we'll have that right back up for you guys. Anything else? Any other questions?
Thanks so much, Linux Academy, for an amazing show and great content. Thank you for being a community member and member of Linux Academy. That support goes a long way. It allows us to build content and hands-on labs for our students. It allows lots of people to be able to at affordable level get training that changes their lives. Google Cloud Associate Certification, we are launching that this month. Go ahead and join us at our next Google announcement. If we launched it all on the same day, there's just too much. There's just too much. It would get lost. We almost got some lost because we didn't even know about all the announcements in the first part of the month. We've just done a bunch of content.
Yeah, again, just want to thank all the training architects for joining us today. And as part of their announcements, it was awesome. And thanks to everybody in the community, all of our students to come in and watch the live stream. It's always awesome and amazing to get a chance to talk and communicate directly with all of you. One of the things that we really enjoy and love doing, these live streams for. So, yeah.
Yep.
Any other questions you have? Drop them in our student community, and we're always there to answer them for you every day of the week.
And that concludes it for us then. Thank you, team. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you on this Thursday. We'll see you in 2 days.
Bye, everybody. Have a good one.
So long, everyone.